The Life of Death by Nightmare Darkness. Read by Deathlight. Chapter 11. Lucifer's Problems. I was grateful for Discord to stop the conflict, but owing him a favor made me feel uneasy, but I would have to deal with it later when I came to it. We need to inform Luna and Celestia. Discord was playing with a paddle ball, making it bounce up and down rhythmically. Discord! I yelled at him, getting his attention, and he missed a beat and looked at me. Sorry, what were you saying again? I got bored with waiting, he said. What? Wait, it's been moments, I said, confused. Maybe for you, he said simply and tossed the paddle away. I decided not to question it further. I flew along with him till we landed on the fort's balcony. I pushed open the door to see Luna in full battle regalia, surrounded by other armored ponies who were in a frenzy at what just transpired on the battlefield. Princess Luna, we must strike now while we have the element of surprise, said a seasoned pony. He is immediately contradicted by a Pegasus pony in nurse attire. We need time to recover, she insisted. Enough! Luna said in a loud voice that displayed power. The room fell silent as she finally saw Discord and myself. Look after the wounded and fortify our current positions, she ordered with a wave of her armored hoof. Leave me, she stated, and quickly the other ponies left, leaving us alone in the room. Discord, I might have known, Luna said unenthusiastically. Your princessness, he said with a bow. Why did you stop the battle? She asked. Lady Death here asked me to, he said with a shrug. Luna looked over to me, then with a softer look. I can't understand, but why? She questioned. Because Demon Vendro is gathering souls directly from the conflict now. We have bigger problems that need attention. I don't know how he mustered an army, but he's marching on Heaven and Hades, with weapons that almost have the same power I do, I said pointedly. Luna frowned and walked over to a stand where ink, quills, and blank pages were ready to use. Luna began to scratch down a letter. Are you certain of this? She said as she wrote. I've just came from fighting him, I said, which gave her pause and looked at me. So you defeated him? She said with some hope. I shook my head in response. No, he escaped before I could recover from his attack, I said, disheartened. No offense, Princess, but Bones here has been running everywhere trying to fix his mess. You should thank me for lightening your burden, Discord said, flitting his paw. Discord, the day I thank you for anything is the day I will dye my maid pink, Luna said flatly. Discord smiled. I'll put a pin in that, he said as a corkboard appeared with several notes. We added another one next to another note that I think said, World Domination Tour. I made a mental note to ask him about that later. I refocused on Luna as she finished sketching out her letter. She rolled it up and sealed it with her magic, and it vanished in green flame. You will hear from Celestia soon, she said, nodding as a knock on the door brought her back to more earthly matters. I went to the balcony door and placed my key, and unlocked it, walking into my office as Discord followed me. He looked around, raising his eyebrow. A bit dreary, even for you, Bones, he commented. I just got this place. Decor isn't really high on my current list to do, I said, finding my seat behind the desk. It was comfy, as I settled myself into it. Apishkol's name came over the buzzer. The previous step is here to see you, she said. I pressed the button in response. Send him in. Discord sat across from me, and looked back to see him walk into the door. Oh, Crunchy! How have you been? Kenny looked at him and gave him a focused smile. Discord, why am I not surprised? Crunchy? I said questioningly. Long story, he said, clearly not wanting to get into it. If you're here, I'm guessing your sources have found something? I presumed. He nodded and was silent for a moment, which gave me a hint. Discord, could you leave us? Don't cause Apple any unneeded stress, I warned. Discord rolled his eyes and gave an exasperated expression. Fine, I'll leave, he said, leaving out of the door. When he was gone and the door closed, Kenny looked at me with hard eyes. Working with the god of chaos isn't the wisest choice, he said, to which I nodded. Trust me when I say it wasn't my favorite plan. But he helped quite a bit, and I'm steadily running out of options, I said. My contacts have located Vendra's lair. Only problem, he's taken to the battlefield. His troops are legions of force-charged souls, made to do his bidding. I don't know how, but it seems he's been doing this before you took over, he said, frustrated. I'll figure it out, I said, trying to comfort him. I can't believe I missed something this crucial, he said, shaking his head. I gave him a half-hearted smile, but he looked at me and there was no point trying to reassure him. I'll go to Celestia. I'll tell her what I've told you. You should go and inform Lucifer. No doubt he'll be ready to settle the score with his former general, he said, standing. I stood up with him and approached him, giving him a hug. He gave me a look of surprise. Thank you for helping me, I said as he hugged me back. We'll see this thing through. After all, I'm still looking forward to my retirement. Can't let the world end while I'm not even a week off, he jested. I put up my hood and went to the door as he left through the mirror. I walked into the lobby where Discord was beside Apple Scroll, looking like a secretary. But by the clear annoyed expression on Apple, he wasn't helping. "Discord, leave my secretary alone," I ordered. "What? I was only..." He began, and I silenced him by raising my hoof. "I don't care, we're going to Hades. I want you to keep an eye on the ponies and changelings. Keep them from killing each other," I said. He waved his claw dismissively. "If anything happens, I'll let you know right away by staying with you," he said, smiling as his uniform disappeared. I opened the door that would have descended me to Hades, where the normal heat that would have been produced was now cold. "That's odd," I said, walking into the ground, followed by Discord. "If I didn't know, it seems like Hades is frozen over." As he said that, we rounded the corner to see the Fields of Pain covered in snow, and Lucifer's castle was under siege from 4 charged souls. Discord and I stood there in shock for a moment. "Well, you don't see that every day," he said, bundling up in scarf and mittens. "How do we get in?" I said out loud. Discord smiled and said with an odd accent, "We terminate." He cocked the middle barrel weapon and charged ahead of me. We charged across the Fields of Pain, approached the edge of Vendra's army, and the first charged souls turned towards us, and he was leaping and bounding at us, looking to attack without thought or self-preservation. Discord began to fire his weapon, and the first several within range transformed into cute puppies and baby ducks, as he laughed like a maniac. I was confused to say the least. The souls attacked the new little ducks and puppies themselves, and turned them into harmless animals. When they began to lash out at me, I was less chaotic when I disposed of them. Cleaving flesh from bone, one lunged to bite me with its fangs. I blocked it with my scythe shaft and twisted it, quickly snapping its neck. Not pausing to consider it, I swung my blade in a wide arc, separating heads from bodies. Just looking around me, it was the worst state of chaos I've ever seen. Discord was smiling, as if he was in a dreamland. He shot 5 more times, then it clicked. He put it behind him, lifted in the air above himself, and it had transformed into a sword. "By the power of Equestria," he proclaimed as he held the blade in front of him, "I have the power!" Then began to swing it back and forth. "Thunder! Thunder! Thunder! Thunder ponies! Ooh!" He exclaimed, beginning to tower, carving his way towards the castle. I looked behind myself and saw the souls that had been transformed begin to return to their previous forms. "Discord!" I exclaimed, getting his attention. He looked to me and saw what I was yelling about. "We need to move, I'm almost spent," he said as we finally made our way to the lines between both armies, where the edge was heated in combat. A demon exploded in front of me in a fit of purple sparks, as she obliterated 4 changed souls. I recognized her. "Elder!" I exclaimed as she looked at me. But now she was clad in battle armor, and still sporting her accessory scarf, that now in the cold had a useful purpose. "Death?" she said, surprised. Discord jogged up to Elder, and blocked and attacked and tossed it aside. "Don't forget me," he said as I approached. "Where is Lucifer?" I asked. "On the battlements, looking over the siege," she said, and kicked off another attacker, and moved her hoof, making Sparkle strike 3 more back. "I'll take you to him," she said, and engulfed us in magical sparks, and the world blinked black, and I stood on the armaments. My mind took a moment to realize where I was, when a voice centered me. "Death, nice to meet you," Lucifer's smooth voice said as I looked at him. Lucifer wore black armor that had flecks of red, that made him look like a glowing ember. "I was coming to inform you of this attack, but it seems I'm late," I said, looking over the battlefield. "Indeed, shortly after your stint, they began their attack," he said, which made me feel awkward. "Elder, thank you for bringing them here. Go to Brimstone and help push our right flank," he ordered. "Right away," she said, and vanished. Discord took a seat as his ears drooped. "Are you alright?" I asked. "I haven't felt this weak since Luna and Celestia first imprisoned me," he recalled. "That was fun to watch," Lucifer said, and Discord followed. I looked at Lucifer. "What's with the snow?" I asked, steering the conversation away from the internal conflict. Lucifer now scowled. "Brethren knows I'm weakened in the cold. If my domain was at its normal temperature, I could end this conflict by reconverting the souls with my hoof," he said angrily. "They look like demons," I said as he scoffed. "Demons can think. These twisted souls are merely puppets of Victora's power. Victora is strong, many in number, but without any intelligence. No self-preservation makes them harder to deal with, but easier than usual to manage. But they're out of control," he said. "How does he control them?" I wondered out loud. "The weapons the dragon made. He was the same creator that created your scythe. It gets its power from the soul as well," he said as if it was common knowledge. "Soul well?" I said quizzically. "I don't have time to give you the full explanation. The well is where the new creatures are born into this land come from. When a soul does its time in Hades or heaven, they go back to the soul well to be recycled. Rinse and repeat. Your scythe is connected to the well directly, because you are the vital link that helps control him to get back to the well. Vedra somehow managed to tap into the well indirectly. That would explain how he gained the power and the army has now, he said. Well, if anything that needs to be served, I said. The only way I think to defeat him, he said. If he's pulling troops from the Soul Well, I suggest you and Celestia cooperate by combining your forces to deal with him. Lucifer looked at me dangerously. What you're asking hasn't been done in a very, very long time, he said. Either that we all fell. Heaven is probably dealing with this very same thing, I said simply. He looked out over the battlefield silent for a moment. Help me break the siege and I'll consider it, he said. I want to hear you promise, I said, and he turned to me, his eyes lighted. Fine, I promise to help Celestia defend heaven, he said through clenched teeth. I turned. How do we get the heat back on? I asked. Oh, you have to reignite the furnace. You need a dragon, he said, looking at me, and I dreaded the thought, and Discord laughed. Man. Oh, this chapter. What to say? I'm sorry it's a day late, but life comes first over YouTube. At least that's what I say. And oh my gosh, the references. Is it even legal? I'm gonna have to say yes. First off, the Terminator. Second off, He-Man. Third off, just escape me. Power Cats? No. Ah, well, you guys all know the third one, but it's like, why did it just escape me all of a sudden? It says it right there in one of the dialogue things. But anyways, so it's finally getting into motion. I believe there's only like a couple more chapters left after this. Yeah, only like 4 more. It's really getting down to it. So yeah, we got like about a month left and then we're out. Then I need to find new stuff. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. I've already got some stuff lined up and this is gonna be a blast, I hope. So here we go.